Never too shy. Hey.
That's just our opening.
Yeah, it really is.
I just
Forgive
noticed I have
music.
gum. I don't think you
It's
should be
just
recording
that.
with gum.
Give me your gum.
No, here.
Oh, this is terrible.
Edit number 1.
I like
No,
that.
we're keeping
don't
this
edit
in.
This.
We're keeping we're raw,
okay.
unfiltered.
Angie Martinez does that. Did you see her?
Yes, I love her. I love her. Well, welcome to Never Too Shy. We are back with another episode. Okay, Nestor's gonna handle his life right now. Hopefully, get it together. And no, you're good, boo. And of course, I'm Paulina.
Tatiana.
Nestor, aka the bra bro.
That's right. Yes, on brand. Hi, we're here. Another episode. How you guys feeling today? Tired.
I feel
right?
good. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'm like, we feel good.
No, I feel good.
You feel good?
I took a little nap before coming
Me
over
too.
here.
Right before here. I love a good nap.
You took your nap this time?
Yes, I took my nap. If I don't take my nap, it's a whole disaster.
cranky.
It's
She'll
a whole
cry.
thing. I've literally cried, and Javi, my fiance, gets really annoyed. But I'm like, I need a nap too.
No, I don't get to. I come straight from.
I don't know how you do
work,
it.
So I'm stressed.
Teacher.
I'm
That's a teacher.
overwhelmed. I feel pressured. But I'm okay. I feel good right now.
Yes. What's your word?
Yeah.
What's your affirmation?
My affirmation is feed your soul.
Ooh.
So for me, like I said, stressed, overwhelmed, but like find time to do things to remind you why you're doing it.
Yes.
So like I talked about the program I'm in and how stressful it is and I'm freaking out, but it's like, why am I doing it? Bringing myself back to you're here for a reason. Why? It feeds your soul. How does it feed your soul? How can you continue to feed your soul? What do you need to do to make yourself feel better and feel like, oh, I'm doing this for a reason? Like reminding yourself of it.
I love that.
So feed your soul.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? I needed to hear that. What about you, my friend?
For me, it's, I don't know if it's a word, it's a phrase, but holding myself accountable and also having that and balance in that.
Yeah.
Last week we were talking about how we have to hold other people accountable for, their actions,
Okay.
businesses, stuff like
Yep.
that. We were talking about that. But something that I kept talking about, or I wanted to highlight more, is keeping myself accountable. Keeping myself accountable to the same, like, the way I'm keeping other
The same
people
standard.
Yeah, the way that I'm keeping other people accountable, I'm keeping myself accountable, and understanding that I'm not perfect. You know what I mean? Because I had this incident happen this week because I was drunk. And I'm not trying to justify it or anything like that. It was just wrong what happened. And so I just kind of wanted to share that. Like, I'm the first one, for anyone listening to this, I'm the first one to keep myself accountable. I'm so hard on myself. Like, I'll get depressed for a while just because that's my biggest thing in doing this podcast. Like, I know that I'm not perfect. And I was like, man, why the fuck did I do that? Why the fuck did I send that? Like, what the fuck was wrong with me,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I wanna do more. Like, keep myself accountable for what I say, how I act, how I respond to things, and learning the balance as well with that. Like, that I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, and I always tell everyone this. I'm like, I'm nobody. I'm that person that would take a conversation with someone and move forward. Whether we decide whether it's a friend, a client, a family member, whether it's continuing to have that relationship or continue to be cool with each other or parting ways, but always having a conversation. I'm not about which again, I said, I'm not about canceling people. I'm not about doing none of that.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, I feel like
Handling it face
I
on.
can handle it like this. I can face what I need to face. I can apologize when I need to apologize. I can accept what I need to accept from my end. But I did want to say that because I know in doing this, I am personally gonna face a lot of that. And I'm very, I'm always scared about like shit because it, when you have a business, everything's connected to that. And so, yeah.
I get that. Sounds deep.
That's my 2 cents.
I feel like it's always deep with Nestor.
I know.
He did something every weekend. These past weekends, Nestor just wilds out.
I was gonna say.
And then he like asked for forgiveness on the podcast.
This is like his confessional.
This is his confessional.
These are my no.
We're like the priest, and we gotta like relieve him of his sins. I don't know.
I don't feel like anybody has that over you, because I feel like at the end of the day, I was thinking about this. I was watching one of the podcasts and I said, the thought that came to my head is like, do you apologize because of the fact that, you don't want to get canceled, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, or do you apologize because of the person that you want to be? What type of person do you want to be? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's more important for me to be at peace within myself and at peace within myself and knowing that I'm doing the right thing rather than it's about getting canceled. It's about, yes, I mentioned my business with it because that also goes along with it.
Of course.
But the most important part is that I'm at peace within myself.
Yeah.
That I'm doing the right
Staying true to who you
thing
are.
because I'm a people person. I love people.
Yes. Find your peace, boo.
But yeah.
I love it. Those are good. Those are good.
What about
I
you?
think for me, it's got to be let go and let God. And I'll bring up a little situation. It's nothing crazy, but I would love you guys' input on it. I think we kind of talked about it a little bit off the air, but I definitely want your input on it as well. I have a friend who is a good close friend. And over the past weekend, and please don't judge me because I know I'm crazy and I own it. I am Miss Insecure. I am not Miss Independent like Kelly Clarkson. I am Miss Insecure. And I own that shit my whole heart. I know I got my insecurities, right? And this is weirdly one of them, but I can't figure out why. But I say let go and let God because I have to understand people are gonna do what they do and that's just life and we cannot control others and we cannot control how others do stuff or react. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I have a friend who over the past weekend, she knows my in-laws, my mother-in-law, father-in-law, uncle-in-laws, the whole in-laws. And they're awesome, super cool people. They party, they're just really, really fun people.
Yeah.
And she knows them because of business reasons. I've connected them and they've done some business together. So with that being said, they, partied over the weekend or whatever, apparently made plans to travel, all these things, right?
Hey.
Honey, I know.
Uh-huh.
And for me, I'm feeling like that little 5-year-old girl who didn't get invited to play in the sandbox or something.
Oh.
And I don't know why it stings or hurts or bothers me. And I think it's because it's in-laws to me are a territory that I'm protective over, not possessive, just protective. These are my in-laws, right? This is my family. This is my mother, my sister. But it's kind of weird because I do this thing when I feel something's weird, but I'm is it weird? I do this thing where I put other people in scenarios, right? I'll be okay, so if I did this, or my fiance's best friend started hanging out with my mom and they were going to go travel to China, I'd be this is fucking weird. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Honestly.
No, I do think it's weird, and I think it'll be different if you were all going in a group and you were invited and you were included, but that's weird.
Something about it though, yes, exactly. I think it's weird because I would never hang out with my best friend's in-laws.
Yeah.
I would hang out with them, of course, in a setting if everyone's
Not
there.
to travel with them without your best friend there. I think that's the weird part about it.
And then to keep throwing it in my face. I don't know if you're just dumb or you just honestly aren't getting the hint, but to just keep being oh my God, I love them. Oh my God, I got so lit with them. Oh my God, they're the best. I know they're the best. They're my in-laws. I'm very aware of they're the best. She mad.
I think
I like this, Paulina.
I think
like this, Paulina.
am I wrong?
you're allowed to
Feel my feelings.
You're allowed to feel what you're feeling. I think you do have to ask yourself where is it coming from?
Thank you.
Why am I feeling so jealous? Is it jealous or?
It's gotta be, right?
And it's okay to feel that. There's times where I feel like that. I have a friend who I introduced him to one of my friends, and now they're always hanging out. And then I'm I'm the one who introduced you guys.
Oh yeah, that's my love story too.
But at the same time, it's it's okay. But in your case, it's different because it's your
it's
in-laws.
kind of family,
yeah.
That's the family now at this point.
And then if you're, I don't know why your girl seems to
Cling on to them.
no
Yeah,
to
that's another
not
part.
just cling on to them, but to in a sense throw it in your
Throw
face.
it in your face, right?
It's kind of catty, but then I expect that I have nothing but girl friends,
Yeah.
and so to me, they're like that because the guys really don't do that.
I think
in my life,
Tati
in my
made a
life.
point. Was it you, Tati, or
Where-
producer Marco?
I think I asked is it
Speak
just
into the
because it's
mic.
her, or is it another Would
yeah.
you be just as upset if it was any of your friends, like
Yeah.
your bestest friend, or is it just because it's this specific person?
I think to answer that question, I think there's layers to it because if it was anybody else, yes. If it was the garbage man, yes, I'd probably be like, oh damn, hanging out the garbage man more than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I introduced them. Let's just say, okay, yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, what I'm saying, I just know too. None of my friends are that weird. Like, none of my friends would do that. So like, it's hard to even answer that. But you're right. Like, if my best friend Claudia did that or whatever, or like another best friend of mine, I would be kind of like, a little side eye, a little like, what's going on? But I feel like because it's a particular person, I'm just like, okay. But also my best friends or my other friends wouldn't do that, where they'd be throwing it in my face every 20 minutes. Like, they're the best.
And this is the hard, awkward part. Well, before I get to that, Marco kind of touched on this when he was
Yes.
basically like, it could be just talk
Oh, like drunk talk.
versus like action. Now, if it happened, then that's weird. That's
guess
something
we'll
to
see
be upset
next
about.
week.
But I guess I don't. So for me, the hard, awkward part is like having that conversation with. I don't know who you want to have the conversation with, both or
Right.
one, like your in-laws. Or that friend, like, hey, I'm not really like, this is weird.
Don't you think it sounds weird though?
I mean,
to
it
even
does.
have
That's
that
why I
combo
said-
to either.
No, that's why I said it's awkward and
Yeah.
weird. But it's like, for me, I feel like if you're doing something to me that's making me feel uncomfortable in some type of way, and I'm not telling you it's making me feel way, you're going to continue to do it. So it'll be Mexico next week, and then it could be Florida in 3 weeks, and then it could be Jamaica in a month, and then it could, you know what I'm saying?
100%.
So I don't know. I don't have good advice, but for me, I
Don't do that just because I'm like, I'm doing these because
No,
I
no,
would
I'm saying
I would
it.
handle it different because of our personalities. We were
but
just talking about this.
Yeah, I literally don't know. Like, in my head, I would want to like talk about it because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't like the way you're making me feel, or at least you should know. And then like, if you choose, like, whatever, I don't know, but I'm not in your shoes, so I don't know if it actually happened to me, if I would do what I'm saying I would do right now.
If
Does
I
that make
were-
sense?
I get it.
I'm
See,
talking
for
all over
me,
the place.
I would if I was Paulina.
Yeah, right.
If I would-
I was about to say.
If I was Paulina,
Tell me more.
what I would do is I would just use Javi. I would vent to Javi.
Stick it to the man.
I tried
But
that.
also I keep venting to him because that's part of like you guys being in a relationship together. 'Cause that's part of I think
Productive
because
struggle.
I think it's more because you're so protective of Javi,
Yes.
and that's directly connected to
Thank
her.
you.
So I think
Therapist over here.
there's nothing wrong with that, but also I wouldn't address it to the friend only because you're just seeing how they are and it's annoying you, and so now you're understanding like that specific person is triggering that part of you.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say anything to them because it's not like they're already married, or right? They're married. That person.
That couple's getting married.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
no.
you don't have to be like feel some type of way about that specific thing.
Yes.
But I would vent to Javi, and then I would just also do a lot of like inner
It's the inner work on
Inner
me.
work that you
it
have to
shouldn't
do.
body me. Like, it really shouldn't.
But
And
you
that's what I
shouldn't.
try to
Yeah.
But
tell.
you shouldn't say that either.
I get
it's
it.
bothering the way it's gonna bother you. But then now
Yeah.
you gotta ask yourself, why is it bothering me that much? You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
No, that's a big one. Like, to
Yeah.
having to stop yourself and question, like, what is the source of this? Why
From
is
somewhere.
this happening? Where is this coming from?
Yeah.
But I also do feel like me, I guess, wanting to protect you is like, I do feel like, as awkward as it is, like, a conversation needs to happen, because then you're just gonna be miserable around the person who's poking at you down the line.
Yes.
Like, if they're doing it now, they could keep doing it. I feel like I'm gonna tell somebody up front what bothers me, so it doesn't continue to happen.
Yes, but rather than being
Yes.
somebody that's a protector of someone, like trying to save someone, you have to be able to build someone up. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, Paulina is gonna probably, but like Paulina's our kid or something.
I know. I feel like
Right?
a kid.
Mom
No,
and dad.
So,
And my dad.
like, rather than try to
You
protect you,
mother-
because
Probably.
me too. You know, you're from the hood, so you're gonna try to protect somebody. You
Yeah.
know. But at the end of the day, like, I want to be able to build the people that are part of my circle. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
Build you up, not
Yes.
cause you to always be someone to be. Because this is the thing. Like, we were just talking about it with me and my other friend, because we had a whole thing with her friends because I didn't want to get into this whole argument because of like what you guys said. It continues to happen, and I'm trying to hold myself accountable.
The poking.
Yeah,
Poking.
well, to getting in dumb situations that you shouldn't get,
Gotcha.
or situations that we're not fucking high schoolers. You know what I'm saying? And so in this situation, basically what I'm saying is like, deal with your inner self. Talk to because you're in a relationship. Talk to the person that you're overprotective about. Be like, I don't want to be like this, Javi. I don't know why I'm being overprotective.
Yeah.
But reality,
I want to get back to that.
reality is this is where I'm at, and so I'm dealing with it. And I'm not going to be a little kid and go talk to her about, like, why are you throwing that to my face?
But I think there's a way. Okay, so I'm all for building, but I do think your inner step 1, Javi step 2, learning how to confront somebody about your feelings and setting boundaries, BBL, boundaries, budget, and love. Okay, that's part of building her. If she wants to build boundaries, she has to know how to like say it with her chest.
That's true.
So do the inner work first. Talk to your old man second. But if something keeps bothering you, you got to learn how to boss up and address it.
That's true, but I think it's the way it's happening to her, because reality is that somebody told me this, and look at in that situation, I could have been like, oh, I'm like that, you're like that. This person said I was fake, right? So in that situation, they're being direct about what they're doing to me. They're indirectly in that situation. They're indirectly hurting friend over here, and so. It's not happening directly. It's happening directly at the moment because you feel it like it's directly happening to you.
They may not purposely be doing it.
Yeah, they
what
might
you're
not
saying.
be purposely doing it. And that would be a whole different situation. That would have been like, yeah, say it with your chest, you know, get your grown woman panties on and tell her what it is. But reality is that that's not what's happening.
But when I say with your chest, it doesn't have to be controversial. You don't have to be like, hey, yo, B, let me, I think it's because she's doing it indirectly. It's more as like, hey, you probably don't realize this, but it kind of bothers me. Like, she doesn't have to be like, F you, I'm going with your in-laws and right? Like, it doesn't need to be that. I think because it's indirect, it's more of a reason for her to like be like, hey, it's kind of weird. Like, put yourself in my shoes.
Also,
what if I,
But also, I'm not opposed to handling that way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, given the situation.
I think there's levels.
Yeah, given the situation, that's why I would handle it this way.
Yeah.
But also, I don't demonize handling that way.
No,
okay, we give you permission to talk about your
your
situation.
Oh my God.
Now you can talk.
No, both of you had great points, and I want to go back to 2 points with both of you in literally a second, because amazing points, and this actually could be its own topic too, because great point. Okay, so I don't know if you said this or Tati said this, but one of you guys said this, basically saying like maybe said person doesn't mean it in a malicious way. Maybe to them it's coming off as like, oh, we're all family now.
Yeah. I said that.
You said that? Okay, so like we're all family now, whatever, which I also think was a fair point. Do I think that it could be that way? Possibly. But I can't be the what did you mean police? You know what I mean? Like, I feel the way I feel. I'm not God. I don't know what you mean by it. But what is your thoughts like on the situation as well? What are your thoughts?
I think it's all rooted in like your relationship with the person. And I think that like, you know, sometimes when you're talking to someone or when you hear someone or someone talks, they just annoy the shit out of you, right? It could be like, if this person says this and they say the same thing.
Yeah.
That comes out of this person's mouth. It's just like, this is the most annoying fucking person ever. Oh, you're the greatest person.
Yeah.
And so I kind of think what the situation is like there's more of a personal, not problem, but personal issue. But I do think like Tati said or whoever said, I don't think they did it with malicious intent.
Right.
Like that's the number one thing. So
I said it first and then you
they
said
didn't do it with malicious intent. They did it just because they feel like maybe they feel like they're part of your family, and maybe you don't feel like that, and like there's a little bit of,
I don't know why to me it's like hard to be like to me like those people are family, but it's like you are family on this family and that's family on this family. Like I didn't marry into this side, like to you two, the couple I'm talking about. I'm married into my fiance. You know what I mean? I'm marrying him. I'm not marrying like the outsiders.
Set your boundaries.
Okay, I want to go back to that in a second because that's an excellent point and a whole conversation itself that I would love your opinion on, actually, because right now you are queen of boundaries. You're canceled queen, and today you're queen of boundaries. But you said that my fiance should be handling the situation.
No.
You don't agree with that?
No.
I don't agree with that either.
Not handling it per se.
I didn't say that at all.
But he should have a say, you're saying? Or?
No, I'm saying that
He should be an outlet.
No,
for
you
her?
should be talking to him about this
Yeah.
because it's directly
Okay.
connected to him. I didn't say he should handle it.
No, sorry. Yeah, I take that back. So you said I should talk to him. Okay, so I did. And I think as any straight man, just kidding. As a straight man, his response really is like any man, where they're just kind of like, why does it bother you type thing. And then, me being a female, I'm getting all defensive that he's even asking me that. It's like, what do you mean? Why does this bother me? Like, you should know, So it kind of turned into that a little bit. He kind of felt like I was misdirecting a little bit of anger at someone else, which I understand that was wrong of me. That I didn't mean that. So I apologize for that. But I guess, like, what as a husband, and I know producer Marco's a husband, right?
Yeah.
Or just you, if you were with a partner and this was your partner coming to you, like, I guess my question is, what should your role be in that?
Just
be an
listen.
ear?
Just listen. That's sometimes that's all you do, and as a partner, that's all you should do.
Yeah.
I said it twice, but yes, that's all he should be doing. If he wants to proceed and kind of like, and I know that because I have all my brothers are with somebody, they usually tell like like my mom or something. Oh, so and so didn't like that you said this. Or
They'll say
or
that.
they do, yeah, because
I respect that.
because
I respect that so much.
And my mom and my dad are those that love that for my brothers that are building that within their own families. And so to me, like, I'm not saying that Javi should go and talk to his parents, but that's something, it's on him if he wants to do it. But first so first of all, and that's what my advice that I said was, first you have to do that self-reflecting, because when you talk to Javi, what you're gonna say, you're not gonna come out just angry. I mean, you could be a little bit angry, however you feel, that's up to you.
Yeah.
But you're dealing with it yourself first, and then you're talking to your partner, and then based on if he wants to do something, that's on him. But now you're at least there's an output to all of this.
I love what you said, though, like that your brothers will address that, because as a son, I'm sure that's got to be difficult. You know what I mean? To, like, let's just say like your wife or your boyfriend, whatever, like said something, like or did something, or it doesn't have to even be like your mom doesn't do anything, but like let's just say your mom did something and she didn't know that it bothered your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever. Like, that's to me so like. I love that. I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says. I fucking love that. You're not coming at your mom. You're not being disrespectful. You're just simply saying like, hey, Sarah, my fake girlfriend Sarah, like, she, didn't really like that, or she kind of felt a little hurt, or whatever it might be. Like, I love that. If my fiance Javi felt any type of way about something that my mom did, whether she meant to do it or not, let's just say she didn't realize she hurt somebody's feelings, my fiance's feelings, I would be like, Mom, this happened. Like, I would be so open about it. I'm sorry, I love that.
There's a way to go about it.
Not a lot of men do that, though.
And I think it's not even just a man thing. I think it's just protecting your partner and respecting your partner, and not allowing anyone to disrespect them or make them feel away. Like, it's almost like you're their comfort. You're their protector to make them feel like maybe in the public eye you saw they felt uneasy. And as a partner, I feel like it's my job to make you feel better later. And like protect you, whatever that looks like as far as protection. Whether it's like telling somebody like, hey, by the way, when you said that, like so-and-so took it a little like having somebody reflect on what they said without actually pointing the finger. Like, there's a way to boss up, right?
And I think at the same time, Javi's probably learning how to do that too.
Yeah.
Because, you guys you're in this journey. A lot of the things that you guys are going to experience are the first time experiencing these things. And so also I would say, like, I think he'll reflect back and he'll be like, at times where like maybe he might have not handled the situation the way you wanted to.
Yeah.
And I think he's gonna get better. That's how we are. And
for sure.
Not to play both sides, but
No,
just bringing
But
understanding.
you do play both sides.
Right?
Bisexual.
Right. But no, but yeah, it's just
Yeah.
I think it's also understanding that as well.
What do you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, producer Marco, like, as a husband, like, I don't think your parents would ever hurt your wife Lucy's feelings, but if they did, whether they meant to or not, how do you address that as a man, as her man?
I think you have to have that discussion, but it is difficult. Like especially in Hispanic households, it's like super difficult because the husband's parents are basically in Hispanic households always right because the man's always right. That's how gender norms have been forever. So it's difficult, but I think it's having the conversation, being like, hey, you know, you hurt my wife's feelings, or there was something that happened, and they may not have thought that they did. Now they know. And it's just kind of bringing them together, because if not, it's just going to like fester to more problems.
Yes. Thank you.
And you have to know like when to nip it in the butt. Exactly.
And you know what's crazy?
Marco with the
That
mic
my
drop.
dad specifically always has my sister-in-law's back.
Who does?
My dad.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Instead of my own brothers. It's so cute.
I
love
love
that.
I think
Wow.
for me, I'm just a what's right is right. Like no matter who it is, I'm gonna support what's right. So it could be like my mom versus my dad versus my mom. Like what's right is right.
Yeah.
And I think I like the way Marco worded it, where it's like if they may not know they're being disrespectful, but it's just bringing it up, letting them know. And it doesn't mean you're demanding them to go to your wife and be like, I'm so sorry. Like, you're not demanding that. It's just like, I just want to let you know so you could keep that in mind later on so it doesn't fester and you kind of nip it in the butt.
Yeah.
Because for me,
I like that.
kind of back to my point earlier, I feel like if I am sharing with you something that bothers me, I told you already. So what you do with that information is on you. Now, if you continue to do that same thing over and over, that tells me a lot. So then I know where you belong in my life.
I get that.
And I want to kind of jump back to a kind of a piece, a sentence that you said that I want to discuss in this episode, and that is BBL of the great BBL, the boundaries.
Boundaries.
I have fucking zero boundaries, and that is not good. I'm not glamorizing that. I'm just being real and very honest right now. I have zero boundaries because let's be fucking for real. If I had boundaries, this conversation that we just had 5 minutes ago wouldn't even be a thing, because said person wouldn't feel so comfortable saying that to me. And I'm a big believer of that. And I feel like sometimes I'll walk around these streets trying to embody. There's
Not
3
these
people
streets.
in the streets. I'll be outside in every damn street, and I try to embody 3 people in my life. It is my friend Nikki Bartnicki, who is like maybe 115 pounds, but the most scariest little thing you ever seen in your life. She is so fucking bold. Like, she's the sweetest too, so it's really weird. She's the sweetest human being, but she is fucking bold, and I love it. My friend Jonathan, who told me my favorite line I ever heard was he told his brother-in-law that he wanted to do something with like interior design, like for fun or whatever, and then his brother-in-law was like, oh, like I would never pay you for that, something like that, basically saying like, who would pay for that kind of a service? It was just a super comment that he made. And Jonathan's response to me when he told me the story, because he was actually upset, he was like, do you understand how much that would have hurt my feelings if I wasn't so confident? I literally want to tattoo that on my ass, because that was
Your crooked ass.
my crooked ass, because that was the most insane line. Like, if I even had an ounce of his confidence, bitch, we would be fucking like outside for real. Like, we would be like syndicated, just like the French show. Like, we would be out here. Like, I'm being for real. Like, that man and his confidence. And then my third person is the person here on my right, which is you, because I feel like you are also very bold. You're very, very kind. Like, I consider you a very kind person. Like, you're very genuine. But bitch, I could tell you got boundaries. And you have them, and that's incredible. But it's, you do it in a way to me where it's like, I still feel good and comfortable with you, but I know you have them. And I want that so bad, you guys. Like, I would give my left tit to have this. The whole thing.
It's really all about like, one, finding out what is your piece. Like, if this is your box, like, what is your piece? And then what are you going to do to protect that piece?
It goes back to protecting,
And
like
then
you said.
and then the next part is communicating with people what your piece is and what you will not tolerate, because you're protecting that piece.
Okay, and how does one do that? Give us the steps,
and-
because
and-
somebody watching right now, a lot of us are people pleasers.
Well, no, I don't think it's.
You know,
I don't
no
think.
boundaries.
I don't think there's like a manual for it. There's no such thing. I think everybody handles things differently. It's just communicating. Like, that's it. Like, people who always want to go out all the time and do this and do that, and it's like, I need to protect my peace. I can't do this. This is what makes me happy. This is what brings me peace. I need to do this, so I need to communicate with you. Like, hey, you're doing a little too much right now, boo-boo. I'm going to catch you on Saturday, 9 o'clock. you know? But I don't know. There's not a manual. Like I don't know. I just do what works for me. You know what I'm saying?
It's worked well.
But very much so is communication. That's number one.
Okay, so
Communication.
when you communicate your boundaries to others, what does that look like?
I guess I don't say, here are my boundaries, number one. I don't do that.
But like, give us an example.
I think it's,
I think she's saying that you don't have to communicate when you have boundaries within yourself.
yeah, it's just when you feel, yes, I think it's when you feel like somebody's testing the boundary, then you have to communicate on that. Other than that, I'm not out here like, everybody who wants to know my boundaries, you know?
Of course.
I think it's only
it's
when
more of a silent movement.
I honestly think like your situation that you talked about, for me, but this is me.
no, I want to hear it.
Only me. I would have a conversation just because I feel like that's pushing a boundary a little bit and my peace is disturbed, because obviously you're disturbed, you're upset.
So one thing that I've noticed about people with boundaries
Mm-hmm.
is that they don't mind confrontation.
No,
people
absolutely.
like me, and maybe I'm not sure if you fall into this on this side of the room. I feel like we are the people pleasers, right? We are the non-shakers, if you will. I mean, we shake shit, but it's not. I don't think it's like, you know, like when it comes
We
to
go
people,
about it a different way. I
we
think.
do. So with that being, but then we get walked all over. Then we get poked, and we sit there and take it until we explode. So it's not good. It's not healthy. But what I'm trying to say is, I forgot my whole train of thought. This is gonna happen a lot, you guys. I'm sorry.
okay, no.
But you said that with the boundaries or whatever,
Yes.
right? You that like, yes, exactly. Like for us, like I don't like confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a little better at it, but I've noticed when I've tried to be more confrontational to build my box and to keep my peace and all that.
Okay.
I come off really aggressive.
Okay, I got an
You don't think
example.
Tati comes off aggressive?
Not at all. I honestly think if I crossed her boundary right now, I think she would check me in a way
Yes.
that wouldn't be aggressive.
I have a
I need to hear
boom.
it.
Here we go. If you know, whoever's watching this, but it is what it is. Okay.
can't wait.
So not too long ago, a few months ago, I had a conversation with somebody that for me felt like it came out of left field. Like they were very much like, hey, can we talk? Like I want to have a conversation with you. And this person had started with like, are we good? Like, are
For
we
context,
good?
is a friend, acquaintance, coworker.
A friend
Okay.
in like the dance scene.
Okay.
Right? It's not one of my like closest
Not the ride or die.
girlfriends.
What do you call them? The
not
Nissan
like my
Altima
not
girls?
my not my ride or die girl, but like somebody who's a friend,
Yes.
right? And so this person basically was like, "Are we good? Like, I feel somewhat distant between us. Like something feels off." And I felt fine.
Okay.
I didn't know why she felt that way, so I asked her. And so basically, she told me that she heard something back in like August. Okay, that came from
She said.
yes, kind of
What did she
coming
say?
from a good friend of mine's mouth, and it wasn't malicious, but basically, at a party, my good friend was talking to somebody else about something that happened to me or something that she was around to see and experience with me.
Okay.
So she was sharing that with other people. And so this person overheard it. And she's very protective of the person who was involved in that. And so that made her feel funny towards me. Okay? So she told me when we're having this conversation, like, oh, I heard this from so-and-so. And ever since so-and-so said this, I felt some type of way. And I don't want to feel that way. So I was able to clear the air and we're good. Like everything was fine. So then for me, immediately, I'm like, oh, I got to nip this shit in the butt. Because so-and-so is my good friend. Like if my good friend is over here talking about what was going on with me the day before to all these other people, that's a problem. That's crossing a boundary. We don't do that around here. Not in these streets, honey. So right away, I'm like, okay, I need to talk to this person. Because this person, I already knew deep down, it wasn't malicious what she was doing. For her, she was being protective over me. And so she was like, can you believe this happened? Da, 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 da. Talking about me. So I knew it was like coming from a protective state. But for me, I was like, girl, don't talk about my business with nobody, right? So I was like, okay, I need to talk to my good friend. So I talked to her. But the way I did it, we were in the driveway at Starbucks, real cute. Like, I just brought it up like, oh, girl, I got to talk to you. I got a bone to pick with you. And I handled it head on. right? And I was like, why were you talking about my situation with XYZ? Like these are cool people, but they're not in my inner circle. So they don't need to know my business.
Okay, so
right?
step one, confrontation.
But the way I did it was just like that. Like, girl, I got a bone to pick with you.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, yo, I heard this and that and that. Like, no. And I didn't address her right away. I gave myself like a week to process everything.
Okay.
And when I talked to her, because I knew her intention was not malicious. But I needed her to know, like, that bothered me.
Yep.
And as you can see, it affected a different relationship. Mm-hmm. And so I don't like that. And so I'm going to tell you now, as my friend, what bothers me and what I would respect from you to not do. Like, please don't do this. And she totally understood. And she was like, girl, my bad. Like, I didn't mean it like that, you know? And I told her, I understand. Like, you didn't mean harm by it. But I'm not comfortable knowing you did that. So just don't do it again. Mm-hmm. And
love it.
And it was fine. And we're good. So like for me, it's like showing somebody love and letting them know like, hey, you bothered me. You disrupted my peace. But it's okay. I still love you. Just let's be better.
100%.
And then you move on. So to me, that's one example of how I handled something or somebody that was like pushing the boundary.
Confrontation is so ugly to me. I need to just get better
but I guess
at
maybe the word confrontation is not it because I feel like that has such a negative Nancy connotation. Did I say Nancy?
Negative Nancy.
It has such a nasty connotation. And so when
it's not a bad thing.
No, but when I'm talking to somebody about what bothers me and that, like, I think there's a way to handle
You're just having
things.
a conversation.
I'm the queen of conversations, you know?
Yeah.
It's
That's
just,
a good point.
it's just all about
You're just
the way
somebody that likes
you confront somebody.
to face things head on.
And it's also, I gave myself time to process it, so I didn't come up to my friend overly emotional, enraged, mad, upset. I gave myself time because she also deserved a conversation because I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't tell her because then I'd be holding it in.
Yes.
That's why I'm telling you,
Yes.
don't hold it in because guess what? She could continuously do it over and over again, and I can't be mad at her because I didn't check her the first time. Best believe if you do it again, sis, I'm coming for your ass. but
Goddamn.
she knows now. You know what I'm saying?
Of
And so
course.
I don't think she would do it again because now she knows.
I have moments like that with my
Yes.
brother specifically because I do business with him and we're always having meetings and then sometimes in our meetings we
Go at it?
go at it in front of everyone.
Oh,
and
shit.
shut it, you know?
Yeah.
But because I have done that with my brother where he does things and I tell him all the time like, dude, I'm your brother, but right now we're business partners.
Yes.
That's what it is, you know, especially when we're meeting. And so you need to understand that. So I completely agree with that. To me, have, because of the way that I am, where I'm not like Tati, where she's so confident and she could just say things like that. I've had to like, for example, today, like we're dealing with a situation with somebody in our team. And this person is so disrespectful all the time. And I'm like, I'm just done with this person. But we were put in a project where now I have to work with this person.
Yeah.
And so, that's crazy. So now that person continues to want to handle projects that we're supposed to be working on together a different way. And so my thing is that I had told my brother, look, this is how he's handling it still. And I'm being honest with my brother, like, so that I can create boundaries within our team or whatever.
Totally.
And my brother's already feeling like, no, you're just being negative about the situation because I'm being direct about things. You see how there's situations where when people like me and you are not as direct with the whole whatever's happening, how we're looked at. Like we're looked at, oh, now he's being too aggressive. Or now he's being negative.
Fucking say it louder.
But to my point that I had earlier
Yes.
with people like us is that you first have to embody that. And that's like from this situation right now, just before coming here.
Yeah.
Literally, I had to realize this. My brother might feel like I'm being negative, but I'm building a boundary within myself. This is a boundary that I'm setting within myself. And this is something that not just as someone who me and this person had before we all became a team and business partners or whatever. Before that, we had a little tea. So now I'm not letting that affect me emotionally. Like my thing is like I'm building within myself. Like this is what I want to see and this is what I don't want to see. This is what I think our business could profit from. And so whether my brother thinks I'm being negative or not, now I know I'm creating those boundaries within myself. And no, I'm going to stick to what I said. I'm going to stick to what I believe. I said something not because I'm being negative, but because I believe that this is the better option going about it in this way. And this person isn't getting it. And I already told my brother now what it is, so that later on it doesn't come back and biting us in the ass because you thought I was being negative.
Yeah,
I wasn't being negative. I was creating. But back to adding my 2 cents to this.
Yes, please.
You have to embody it, and you have to. That has to be part of you before I think confronting anything.
For sure. Like,
which is what she said.
Do the inner work,
Which is what you said. Which is what you said.
Process.
Before,
Understand.
Be within. Otherwise, it does come off as like, first of all, like, where's this coming from? Because like you said, people view us in society not the same way they look at her, and that really sucks because if you know us, obviously, I'm not saying like a stranger who just walked in here, but like knowing all three of us, they know who would be more easier to push over or like, you know what I mean, not respect their boundaries. Unfortunately, it's just the truth, you know what I mean? Because like we've lived that, you know, with our lives and stuff.
So
and, like,
nice,
right, like, oh yeah, and trust me, I know all of it. But you're right, it's a part of like, it's literally a form of self-love. Like setting boundaries is a form of self-love.
Protecting your peace. If you love something, you want to give it peace. You don't want to disrupt it.
I love how you said protect it. Like create a box.
It's a box, and your piece is in there.
Yeah.
Like I almost think of it as like
a castle with like swords and like a swamp of alligators and crocodiles, and then
she's the princess.
Fire. And
sounds like Shrek.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah, I love that. Or to me, it almost seems like I don't know how like this would relate, but like kind of like our inner child. Like I always want to protect her. I'm really big on that, you know, and I'm doing a lot of inner child work because there's so much there that I'm like, fuck, I wish like I could be there for her.
That's
so
where
much.
it comes from. That's where it comes from.
100%. 100%. Next episode, we got to talk more about inner child stuff because I feel like we literally
That's
are
a
who
good
we
one.
are
I like that.
because of that.
Ooh,
I mean, for
I
real.
like that. Let's talk about her.
Our inner child. We're
Are
gonna
we,
cry.
are we still doing questions?
Yeah, I was going to say.
We're going to do one question today.
So from the Q&A?
Yes.
Okay, do one of the questions in the Q&A. We'll post it every week for those watching, so please submit your questions. Hopefully we can get some.
I don't know why I thought you were going to talk about Bad Bunny coming yesterday, but
No, he just came for WWE.
Because that's your man.
I know I
That's
had
why.
tickets to
What
WWE.
You didn't go?
Oh my god.
No.
Okay,
I had my mother-in-law waiting because we were gonna go too. Because Javi was gonna go, then he didn't want to go, so I was like, cool.
Just start sending
Jason
these
Brown was
tickets
gonna
to me.
go, but then I was like, I want you to come back to the city. You live in Tinley, and I'm a fucking clown.
Start
okay.
sending these tickets to me.
I
She
will.
needs
Boo. I
boundaries.
always have all these tickets.
And yes, submit questions at Never Too Shy Pod.
Yes.
So the only question we're asking today is, what are your green flags in someone, and what are your red flags in someone?
In someone.
Relationship or just like a human?
I guess because of our prior conversation, we'll say humans in general.
I like that. Okay, Tati, take the lead.
So I guess my green flags are people who are just down with whatever, like spontaneous people who trust you and just are willing to be there in whatever activity you want to do. That's a green flag. Green flags are people who are honest with you, but know how to do it respectfully, who are honest with you, great communicators, people who applaud you and are in your corner and are willing to take applause from you. So somebody who's willing to build other people up, not somebody who's selfish and only thinks about themselves. And people who are always challenging themselves, whether it's like creatively in a hobby, financially, in their job, in their physique, whatever it is. But somebody who's always challenging themselves. And somebody who's just like good vibes. Good vibes. No negative Nancy's. Those are my green. Are we doing all green flags first and then red?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, whatever you want to do.
And then for my green flags and people, just like genuinity, is that word? Genuine? To be genuine, never have an agenda to me, you know what I mean? Like I know in life, a lot of times, our interactions are transactional. Like, in a sense they are, whether you like that or not. Like they are, like when you meet somebody, even a friend, for example, like your best friend, in a way that can be considered as transactional because you know you both are giving each other, you're pouring into each other's cups, right?
Yes.
And you guys are obviously spending time together or like chit chat and shooting the shit, whatever. So like, but I don't mean that though. For me, it's like for a green flag, it's like you don't have any like you don't always want something from me or vice versa. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, I love just like genuine people, just good-hearted people. Because believe it or not, I don't think there's a lot of them out there, and I hate to be that person to say that, but there isn't. So for me, yeah, I like that, and just people who are, I don't know, just like cool, like just cool. They could have every dollar and everything in the world, but
Humble.
they're just humble,
Laid back.
cool, laid back people. Those are
a
my
good
green
one.
flags.
For me, it's a lot, but probably somebody that's humble, somebody that is very relational.
Yeah.
I love, and not relational like you said to get something from it, but someone that's just like a people person. I love that. I love being able to have that around me. People that are relatable, you know, people that don't feel like they're too good for anybody and stuff like that. Like that to me, it's a green flag.
All right, red flags.
My red flags in people are people who try to take ownership over others and just like you're mine, whether it's a friend, a family,
Yes.
whatever. 2, I would say people who are always questioning your decisions or your intentions, like somebody who always needs gratification, or somebody who always needs, what's the word when you always need reassurance?
Reassurance, yeah.
But like somebody who's like constantly like demanding that from you. So like that kind of goes along with people who are like selfish, I guess.
Yeah.
And just people who
I love
Like-
the face.
this sounds bad, but like people who are just not put together. like no, like they don't care about their life. They don't care about like the way they look. Not saying that they're like they have all this vanity. That's not what I mean. Like people who are just blah. Like they're living their day to day with no purpose. That to me, that's a red flag. I
get
feel like
that.
you need to wake up with purpose. Wake up with like what are we looking forward to today? I think because those people are like energy suckers.
They
like,
can be.
They drain it from
Because they got
you.
nothing going on, truthfully, whether they want to admit it or not.
Yeah,
So they're
so
gonna
I
come
would
suck on you
say
like a leech.
yeah, that's a red flag for me.
That's a good one for sure. I think for me, it's like calculated people, because I've like been around them a lot of times, and like every step is calculated, and like that to me is so weird, because we should be I guess calculated. Like, okay, like what are your goals, right? What happens after this? Like I think it's more of like a planner than a calculator, but I just, to me, it's like not everybody has to, you don't always have to get something out of something or someone, so that drives me crazy. I don't know, it's like a thing for me. And then just like people who lie, like don't lie, because 99% of the time I'm gonna find out. I'm a woman, I'm gonna investigate, like I know, you know what I mean? Like, and I hate, oh my god, red flags in people is when people try to be something they're not. Drives me fucking crazy. Like, you were not born in the hood, you were born in the suburbs of northern Michigan, whatever the fuck you're from, like, you know what I mean? Like, you listen to, you know, Biggie Smalls, whatever, but that doesn't make you that. Like, oh, I'm so cultured, I'm so gangsta. Like, that's my take. I'm gonna just shut up now.
My thing is someone with a bad attitude. Like, I don't like that. I don't like negative people. I don't like. Wait, did I just say the same thing backwards? No. These are red flags, right?
All the red flags.
Somebody who, again, thinks they're better than people. I don't like that.
Yeah, that drives me crazy.
Because, and I, the thing is that I love when someone's put together, but I don't like when someone looks down on someone who's not put together. You know, does that make sense?
Like a judgmental person, like,
Yes.
oh, look at their
Yes.
shoes, like
Yeah.
one of those people.
Yeah, well, just like all their whole way of being is based on what they have and what they've accomplished and
got
what
it.
they like.
Like,
to me,
if you didn't do X, Y, and Z, you
yeah,
can't
like
sit
to
with
me,
Right.
having what I have, I always tell everyone like that doesn't mean nothing, because at the end of the day, my whole goal is to be able to bring good vibes, be able to be a good person, be able to. That's what I started off with in this conversation today.
I love it. Look at us, our flags.
Flags.
Make sure to
Oh, what about
Oh, producer Marco,
Marco.
give us a red flag and a green flag in a person.
Green flag is how they treat waiting staff. If they treat
So
waiting
important.
staff good, then good. Red flag if they boast about their achievements. So yeah, that's me.
I love it. See, look at that. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and of course, send questions anytime. We're always gonna have a link up. We'll kind of keep that permanent on our page
Yeah.
in the highlights, so that way we can always keep up with you guys too. Follow us, Never Too Shy Pod.
Yes, on all
Never
social
Too Shy
media.
Pod on the socials. I'm Paulina.
Tatiana.
Lester.
Yes, and we'll see you next weekend. Producer Marco, thank you.
Bye.